All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, guys. Good to be here.
Good evening, everybody.
Yan, and welcome to Practical Leadership Online.
Ayan, okay. So meron tayong early bird. Ayan, si Mariam Gonzalez. Good evening. Present daw po siya. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss M.
Siya.
Early bird.
Grabe. Buti alam
Kanina
niyang
pa siya
online tayo, ha? Kanina pa
Kanina pa siya
nag-aabang.
nagtatanong. Sabi niya, online na kayo. So, ayan. Ayan na siya. Ayun, no?
Ayan naman.
Yun, so kumusta naman kayo?
Okay naman. It's a rainy Tuesday. Di ba? Parang almost the whole day was raining. Mula umaga. And hanggang hapon and paggabi na, no? Umuulan pa rin. Sa inyo ba ganun din?
Same here. Buong araw umuulan. Past few days umuulan. Pero I think last week and this week felt like the most normal for me. Kasi lumalabas din ako, running errands and all that. So this week has felt the most normal compared to any other week in terms of traffic, people being outside. Parang ngayon ko lang nakita na yung mga tao living their lives like it used to be more than ever. So sana pagdating ng Pasko, no, smooth na talaga.
At sana doble ingat din. Yan, syempre palagi.
Correct. So may nag-good evening sa atin.
Ayun, si Miss Boots. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Boots. Yeah. We are looking forward to the questions also that you might have for our guest today. I'm sure sila, no? Medyo they're in the same field somewhat. So excited ako na makita yung banter nila kahit through the comment section and the replies of ni Miss Joy.
Even though Miss Boots is not with us here on the stream, but she's on Facebook, so looking forward to her questions as well. All right. So, hello, good evening, Miss Boots. How are you?
Good evening.
Tapos doon sa mga naghahanap kay Coach RD, no, sinusubukan niyang kumontak. Nandun siya sa kanyang bar over at Keg sa BGC. Medyo mahirap lang kumontak. So pag sumulpot siya, wag kayo guys magulat kasi he's trying to get a good connection, and if internet permits, he'll just pop up and join us anytime. Okay, so doon sa mga naghahanap kay Coach RD. So, sige. Punta na tayo doon sa topic natin.
Good evening naman kay Lashina and Nino. And sabi niya, good evening PKPL and Kuya Iko. Miss na po namin kayo. We miss you too.
A long time no see, Sheena and Nino. Hope to see you more. In the future.
I agree.
In the nearest future. Yes.
Yeah. In line, siguro, yung kamustahan natin, in line with our theme or topic for this season, the importance of balancing stress and being well. In light of that, kamusta yung week nyo? Na-balance nyo ba ang stress at being well? Or natanggap nyo na ang stress ay part of being well, which is sana hindi ang case, no? Makaiba sa atin, tinanggap na yung stress is as part of life, but definitely it's different from being well. So in that light, how was your week? Na-manage ba? 50-50 ba stress and being well? Kamusta? Ikaw na muna, tapos pasa mo na lang.
Okay, akala ko si Tristan unang sasagot eh. Alam mo, Pastor Lijay, that's a very interesting question kasi syempre, as much as possible, ayaw natin ng stress sana no? Pero the reality is that our work, our job really demands a little bit of stress in different forms. So for me, it's a constant battle to remind myself that sometimes the stress that I'm facing is actually part of the challenge of being able to accomplish whatever task yung nasa harapan ko. No? So, I just remind myself, siguro it's a conscious decision that I make na pag kunyari na overwhelmed na ako or feeling ko medyo mabigat na yung kinakaharap ko, I just remind myself that it's really part of the process and I just need to go through it. It's part of the process. And then medyo mas nababawasan yung stress. Now it becomes a challenge that I intentionally want to overcome more than it being like a monster in front of me that's trying to, steal my joy or steal my peace. Parang I have made that resolve na kapag merong stress na part naman ng job ko to be able to accomplish an end goal, intentionally sinasabi ko lang na lilipas din to. Harapin mo lang, overcome mo lang, and it's just really part of the process. Yun sa akin.
Malaking bagay talaga, Iko, yung attitude towards stress and adversity. And by what you said alone, it's important yung mindset mo towards stress eh. You need to be prepared for it before it even happens, di ba? Kanina natin ipapasa to.
Tristan.
Ikaw na bahala. Ito.
Si Tristan naman.
The master of stress. Tristan, kamusta?
Natawa na lang.
Na-manage naman. At tingin ko, Lee J and Direk and King, na-manage naman yung stress. I think maganda din in the past maybe couple of months, yung mga wellness seminar na na-attendan ko have helped me to identify the kinds of stress we actually face. Before kasi parang oblivious ako dun sa mga stress eh. But after learning those kinds of triggers, those kinds of stress, ang maganda kahit nandyan lang palagi yung stress, I'm able to manage it na. So kapag tulad mo, Direk Iko, kapag sobrang mataas na yung stress, I look back at the calendar and see kung ano yung pwede kong i-adjust and see where I can slow down para hindi din ma-overwhelm ng stress kasi madaming pwedeng maging trigger yung yung stress sa buhay natin. So, yun, that's what I normally do. Ayan. So, kay King, what do you do, bro?
Ayan, no? So, being, the past few days, parang events-based talaga yung immediate na work rin na ginagampanan. So of course, pag events and live events, marami talaga mga biglaan, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. All right? And very interesting yung mga pangyayari. But of course, I just try to understand that it's not just about me, hindi lang naman ako yung apektado or hindi lang rin naman ako yung kumikilos. And of course, it's really part of a team. So, kumbaga parang, yes, it is stressful, but I try not to add stress by how I react or how I manage things, di ba? So, yun lang pa.
Dagdagan ko na yung sinabi ni King, no? I don't only agree with it. Talagang kung yung sinasabi ng events na experience ko, dahil magkakasama rin kami. Kagabi lang magkasama kami ni King tsaka ni Tristan for an event. You can only imagine in my line of work, Sundays are the busiest. I preach on a Sunday afternoon, and the days before that is spent on studying and internalizing, preparing for that. To the point na by Monday, out of sight, out of mind talaga na may event pa kami. Nag-sync in na lang later in the afternoon. I was calling out for help. So, buti na lang, we gathered together and we put it off kahit pa paano na it worked. Tama si King. Sobrang importante yung teamwork ngayon and trusting that your team can help you out. You don't have to do it all alone. Considering, so Monday is usually a rest day and we had to work on that day. And then today is one of the busiest as well. The whole day we have meetings. And to cap it off with this, parang tayo ata yung pinaka-main audience nung topic natin ngayon na may counselor dito. Parang ang dami kong gustong tanungin pero we'll also allow our viewers to ask at any point, no? So just type away later if you have any questions dun sa ating guest speaker today. So episode 3 is all about discipline of the mind. Certainly, kailangan natin ito ngayon kasi pag bumigay yung mind mo, wala na. Pag bumigay ka sa stress, di ba? As much as we want to balance our being well or well-being, it really starts with a powerful mind and a discipline to have that. So hopefully we learn a lot tonight from our speaker who Tristan will introduce.
Mhm.
Ayan. Direct Iko, may hinihintay ako sa'yo.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before Tristan introduces our guest speaker, no, I'm excited once again to have this conversation with her. But I think Coach Ardy is trying to enter the room, so if we could try to bring him in.
Ayan.
Yun.
Hi, Coach. How are you? Is your connection stable?
Imagine nyo, yan pa lang, connecting pa lang to our show, stressful na. Pero nakangiti naman si Coach. In fairness, nakangiti siya.
Okay, so sige, I think medyo na-inform naman tayo ni Coach, no, privately, that medyo is really having a hard time connecting, and even dun sa ating comment section, sinabi niya sa viewers natin na nahihirapan siya mag-connect. But I think once mas stable na yung connection ni Coach, we'll bring him in. Okay, so right now, sige Tristan, let's introduce our very special guest for this evening.
Oh, I'm so honored and privileged to be introducing Miss Joy Laverinto. Miss Joy is the Heal for Life Philippines Healing. She is the kinabahan ako, Miss Joy, pasensya na. She is a registered guidance counselor. She is a Christian psychotherapist and president of the Philippine Association of Christian Counselors. She's also our main facilitator and counselor during our Heal for Life week in Tagaytay. That's with different friends. I developed so much friends in that batch. Pero katulad ko, no, nandun din si Direk Iko, si Mariam, na naging participant din ng Heal for Life. So we are really encouraged and excited to be joining, to have Miss Joy join us tonight here at Practical Leadership Online. Yan. Palakpakan naman natin si Miss Joy as we welcome her on screen.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Tristan, okay lang kabahan kasi that means tao ka. Pag hindi ka kinakabahan, robot. Walang nararamdaman. So, sa alam naman ang feeling is all valid yan. So, the more na magpakatotoo ka sa emosyon, the more you are alive, you are healthy. So, good evening kay Pastor King, Lee J, Iko.
Hello.
Salamat sa ating mga participants, sa ating mga anong tawag natin diyan, mga teammates or mga televiewers, TV, online. Lahat mga welcome.
FB viewers.
Mga viewers natin, mga FB. Okay, welcome. I'm excited sa mga tanong, no? Sa tanong lang kasi sabi ko nga as usual, walang tanong na mali. Every questions here are always important, Lahat ng mga tanong yan, very important yan kasi galing yan sa puso. Hindi yan basta-basta ginawa lang. Okay. Kasi naalala ko nung maliit pa ako. Pag nagtatanong ako, kinakabahan ako eh. So this time, I'm challenging everyone. Just ask. Walang tama, walang mali. So just be yourself.
On that note, Miss Joy, I just want to encourage our viewers to share this stream kasi katulad nung when we had her for one of our live streaming, no, it was really a very effective and a very empowering session that we had with Miss Joy. So I'm really encouraging everybody to share this to your friends and share this sa mga wall ninyo. Start a watch party and encourage your friends to ask questions. Ang masarap na kwentuhan si Miss Joy kasi ma-validate niya palagi yung nararamdaman mo eh. Hindi niya i-ex. Parang welcome kahit anong klaseng tanong. Ayan.
Yeah.
Si,
Kasi tao tayo,
Ayan.
Iko eh. Mm-mm.
Miss
Ramdam ko na
Joy,
nga
siguro,
kaagad sa pagkakamali ko pa lang sa intro eh. So, ayun,
di ba?
simulan na natin. Direct Iko, balik sa'yo.
Oo, ayan. So Miss Joy, ang pinag-uusapan namin is sabi nga kanina ni Pastor Lijay, no? I think lahat kami relate dito sa topic namin today. Kasi parang, especially in this, hindi na nga sa new normal eh. Parang it has now become our now normal. No? Na andito tayo ngayon sa sitwasyon natin na parang it's really so hard. Ako personally, I guess my question would be, um, how pagdating sa trabaho, when do I know when to stop in terms of my day? Parang in terms of my day, and let's say, for example, there's still questions that are coming in at night. What's the best way to deal with it?
How to pause? That's
How
your
to
question, huh?
pause and how to address it. Let's say, for example, there's still work coming in at 10. I think it's a pressure that I
Yeah.
put on myself na pagdating ng 10 o'clock, kahit may mga bagong tanong na pumapasok, I
Okay.
I feel like I need to reply. So and it becomes a trigger of stress and pagod. So paano po ba yun?
Yeah.
How would I be able to handle that well?
Yeah. Pag nag-focus ka, Iko, okay, sa work, walang katapusan yan, okay? Ang work is never ending. Yung naalala ko yung mentoring sa akin ng aking mentor, sabi niya, Joy, kasi I'm very workaholic person. So nai-stress ako, sumasakit ang buong katawan ko. Sabi niya, Joy, yung trabaho walang katapusan yan. Pero yung buhay mo, may hangganan yan. So that's the line that he mentioned to me. Your life has a limit, Pero yung health mo may limit. Pero yung work, nandyan lang yan. Anytime. Walang ending yan. So, sabi niya, tingnan mo yung katawan mo. Pag ang katawan mo nagsasuffer, like example, nasusuka ka na nagagalit ka na, irritable ka na sa paligid, and you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's time to pause. It's time to, to relax your brain. Kasi ang ibig sabihin nun, hindi na makapag-process ang brain mo. You look at the work as a heavy load. You look at the work as an obligation. Sabi nga ng Panginoon, 'di ba? Whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do it for the glory of God. So hindi na nagbibigay ng glory kasi nagagalit, naiinis na, naiirita na. So it's time to pause. It's time to have a time out. It's time to have break time. It's time to inhale, exhale. So, kailangan yan ng katawan natin. Pag nag-focus ka sa work, and then, hindi ka nag-focus sa katawan mo, puro work, 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 work. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, ang mind mo is now, parang kumbaga yung brain mo, lumalabas na sa katawan mo. You're not in touch with yourself because you're focusing on the work and you're not focusing on yourself. Then, ang mangyayari yan, magnanumb ang katawan. Magnanumb. So, parang you're doing a job into motion, para kang robotic nagtatrabaho because ang mind mo lumabas na sa katawan mo, hindi na mindful, hindi na in touch with your body because parang nagta-travel ka na outside of your body because you're focusing too much on finishing the work. So yun, mataas ang level ng stress nun kasi ang work nagiging enjoyable lang siya when you can feel your body, at the same time you can feel your work. Parang hindi nabubura yung sarili mo. Pag nabura na yung sarili mo and then focus on the work, then that's it. Tataas na yung stress, level of stress.
So more, Miss Joy, it's more of a pressure kasi that I'm putting on myself. It's not necessarily my boss or it's not necessarily the work per se, but it's really me kasi hindi naman ako ina-expect na mag-reply ng ganong oras ng gabi. Pero ako mismo, I guess self-discipline, po? I mean, I would go to the practicals, Miss Joy. Parang what would you advise or what would you recommend for me to do para talagang meron akong concrete action? Or if you have suggestions on the actions I should take para talagang maiwasan ko yung gabi-gabi na nakatutok pa rin ako sa trabaho.
Okay. Iko, yung sinasabi mong nagre-respond in the middle of the night, it's also a form of a habit. If you keep on doing that every day, every night, your brain will automatically, do the task kahit gabi na. So it's a habit. So ngayon, you create a habit to really create a mini goal. Like for example, today I want to mag-goal na by 10 o'clock hindi ko nabubuksan ang cellphone ko. Or today by 10:30, you set a time na sa palagay mo kaya ng katawan mo, kaya ng utak mo, and then practice that every day. Practice. Kasi kung hindi mo yan pa-practice, kahit gusto ng utak mo, dahil hindi mo siya pina-practice, hindi mo siya ginagawa, walang brain synapses. Hindi nare-record yan sa brain mo. So you have to, yung desire mo to stop working and then practice it daily hanggang sa masana yung utak mo to, to start saying no. Pero pag hindi mo practice yan, sabi mo lang, gusto ko matulog ng maaga, and then hindi mo siya ginagawa, then hindi mo yan mariregister. Hindi mo siya ma-put into action. Because ang brain natin, dalawa yan right brain and left brain. You have the desire and then you have the doing. You have the longing and then you have the doing. So pag hindi mo yan both ginawa, then hanggang desire ka na lang. Yun ang tinatawag na you're nagdi-dream lang pero hindi mo siya ma-implement.
Para
Practice,
malinaw lang po, Miss Joy, I was also asking for a friend. Okay? I was also asking. May nagpatanong din lang sa akin.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
this is not
really,
for you. This is for everyone.
Yes. Ayun. So we want to encourage our viewers na if you have questions for Miss Joy, similar to what I asked, lalo na pagdating sa stress and yung topic nga natin is the importance of being well and balancing stress. Ayan. So please feel free to ask questions. Okay, so sa mga aking mga kasama dito, baka you have a question for Miss Joy.
Yeah, ako may follow-up question, Miss Joy. Taking after what Iko said, no, na at night nagtatrabaho pa. Minsan, when we have a schedule, let's say we say that 8 p.m., that's it. We end work already, have dinner with the family. It's hard to really pause and stop eh. Kasi kahit alam mong sa kalendaryo mo, nakatigil ka na, yung utak natin minsan, pag walang disiplina, iniisip mo pa rin yung trabaho, nagpo-process ka pa rin. Yes, you shut off your laptop, you shut off your phone, nobody's communicating with you, but your brain just continues to work on and on. Whether you're excited about your work or you're stressed out about your work, basta yung passion kasi nandun, pag stressed out ka, parang ang fear mo, oh no, pagising ko bukas, ito na naman. Pag excited ka naman, I can't wait until tomorrow to explain, to show my presentation, to talk to my team about it. So either way, it's really hard to take a break sometimes kasi nga parang gusto man, alam mong oras na para matulog eh. Pero yung utak natin parang may on and off button ba ho na pwede namin pindutin dito or dito pag napinindot natin magsi-sleep mode or shut off yung ating mga utak. Parang there are times I find it hard to just really shut off the brain. Is there any way or best practices to do that po?
Yeah. Actually, yun ang pinaka-struggle ng karamihan. Very, very hard yan to just shut off our brain kapag talagang you're carrying a heavy load or a big responsibility, especially pag maraming mga taong nakasalalay dyan, mga taong nakaka-expect sa'yo. So, it's very hard. So, ngayon, since there are times na may day na talagang hindi mo yan maiwasan, you choose a day. Like for example, may mga activity, may mga araw na hindi ka busy or walang activities. Hindi naman araw everyday na merong heavy task. So that would be the time to relax kasi may mga days na hindi talaga makaka-relax katulad nitong may mga big events sa church, may mga big events sa community. So ang hirap mag-relax dahil may mga taong nag-i-expect sa iyong leadership. So ngayon, since alam mo na busy nga tong araw na to, you choose a time in the week. Like for example, you choose 2 days, 2 days in a week to create a relaxation day, to schedule a self-nurturing day. Kung merong gano'n, kumbaga may Sabbath, may practice of the Sabbath. Like si Jesus, di ba? Kung titingnan mo siya, in the middle of the talagang inaalisan niya. Minsan ang meditation ko doon, wow, kung si Lord kaya niyang iwanan ng crowd, bakit ako hindi ko kayang iwanan yung crowd? So, it's a matter of really being courageous enough to say na, Lord, kahit matulog ako, the Holy Spirit is hindi natutulog. So, yun yung palaging isa sa mga way of thinking ko na pag natulog ako, Lord, you're not sleeping, you're still working because you're all omnipresent, you're always present. So doon, isa yan sa mga way of thinking ko na kahit matulog ako, the Lord is still doing on my behalf. And then another thing, ay isa sa mga naisip ko, kung si Lord, kaya niyang iwanan yung crowd, hindi siya nahiya, hindi siya natatakot, then I can also do that, leaving the crowd behind para lang mag-isolate kapag napapagod. Another thing is, isa sa mga way of thinking ko, my life, my body is more important. Kasi pag na-burn out ako, isa sa mga motivation ko, ayoko ma-burn out. So, once na na-burn out ang katawan ko, hindi the level of continuity, hindi ko yan maibigay. So, binabantayan ko yan na hindi ako mag-pause in the middle of the game. So, part of that is really encouraging that Sabbath is a commandment and Sabbath is also a promise from God. So, that's why, isa yan sa motivation ko, actually, yung sarili ko na hindi ako pwedeng magkasakit. Even in this time of COVID, I'm telling myself na hindi ako pwedeng, I cannot afford to get sick dahil I'm doing counseling. I cannot afford to be burned out kasi maraming trabaho. So, yan ang mga motivations ko actually sa personal. I have my personal motivation by loving myself. And the more I love myself, by taking care of myself, the more I can give to other people also. So that's one way of my motivating factor to really learn to pause and stop.
Thank you, Miss Joy. Yung partner in crime ko sa events, dahil siya yung head ng tech, PK, meron ka bang mga itatanong kay Miss Joy? Ito, lagi kong kasama to sa mga events eh. Walang tigil.
Sorry. Bagong mga questions natin. Let's welcome Coach RD. Are you
Yun.
there?
Yun.
Maraming
Ayun.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's
Yeah.
kind of connection's really bad for for us here in the store. I'm actually in my partner's store, but I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody, and guys, maraming salamat. I don't know how long I can stay on because nga the connection keeps coming on, going off, coming on, going off. But I know that we're going to be learning a whole lot in terms of learning, in terms of discipline of the mind to keep on learning and getting better and better and better over time. Because this time of COVID is really a time for us to improve ourselves, diba? Sharpen the saw, as they say. So Joy, Miss Joy, I just wanna thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show and to guesting on the show, and hope that this is not gonna be the first and the last time. Parang nagpapaalam na
Yeah.
ako, no? Bakit ako nagpapaalam na ka?
Yeah.
Wala,
Hindi
nagpapaalam
mo
na.
kasi alam, Coach, kung mawawala ka o hindi.
Oo.
Kung nawawala ka.
Hinahanda mo lang yung damdamin namin, Coach.
Para hindi kayo ma-stress.
Ah.
But yeah, use this time of learning to really get the most out of what Miss Joy is going to be sharing. I just want to probably just share three things, when it comes to learning. And most of us know this, that there are always three ways by which we can learn. The first is, we're always visual learners. Some of us are visual learners where we need to see things happen, diba? Or we need to read things, or we need to take a look at things, which helps us, diba? In terms of our knowledge, in terms of getting better. And then the second one is auditory learning, where you have to listen, you have to be in class, you have to always pay attention to what's being discussed and what's being talked about so that you can learn. And then, of course, there's what you call the kinesthetic learner. The kinesthetic learner learns by doing. So, hindi siya pwedeng instruction lang. You have to bring that person to a place where they can really practice what they've learned and let them do the work. And these are what educators or learners are saying, that the three ways by which people typically learn. And maybe what we can do as we're going through the conversations with Miss Joy is find out what is my learning style. What is my learning style? Because Not just because you like to read means that you're a better learner than another person. Doesn't necessarily mean so. Pwedeng tinitignan mo lang isang bagay, how it's being done, and then you do it yourself, and then all of a sudden, you're already learning the skill. So, kailangan alamin natin yun eh. Kung ano ba tayo, are we visual learners, are we auditory learners, or are we kinesthetic learners? And then from there, really go into a deep dive into practicing this type of learning because that's one good way by which I think we can sharpen ourselves and really discipline the mind to keep on learning over time. And as we continue the conversation, that's why I want to just share this piece because I don't know if I'm gonna be on or I'm gonna be off. But let me just leave you with this, if in case I'm not able to finish the show. They say that the obstacle to progress is not ignorance; it's assuming that we know it all. Mas mabuti pa raw ang mga ignorant na tao, yung mga wala masyadong kaalaman, dahil sila mas gusto nilang matuto. Merong hunger, meron yung wanting to learn. Pero yung mga inaakalang alam na nila ang lahat, yun daw ang umpisa ng pagtatapos. Meaning, that's the beginning of the end, where there's no more growth that happens, where there's no more learning that happens. Which at this point in time, given remember, before it was called the novel coronavirus. In other words, novel means new. It was the new coronavirus. But now we already know how to deal with it. So let's not think that, yeah, we already know what it is, work from home. We already know what work life integration is all about. But let's continue to learn more and more. In other words, take the position of ignorance, quote unquote, where we always want to be curious about certain things. As Steve Jobs says, diba? Stay curious. Yun yung importante. That we're always curious, that we're always wanting to know, we're always wanting to understand, and which is what this show really provides, apart from value in terms of biblical learning. It's really more knowledge on how to become better. So if I get cut off, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all tomorrow in Kapetayo. So for now, I want to say hello to everyone and thank you for tuning in. Guys, thank you again for doing this practical leadership online. And Miss Joy, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation with you. So we hope to
Yeah.
learn more. Oh, guys, take it away. It's all yours.
Thank you, Arnie. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
Ayun.
My
Grabe, no?
pleasure to be here. Hmm.
Grabe.
Oo.
Pare, dalawang ano to, bro, dalawang powerhouse tong
Oo nga
sama na.
eh. Oo nga. Grabe, daming
Power.
learning. So, in 5 minutes lang ata yun, Coach RD, ah. So, I like that. Ah. Yung the obstacle to progress is not ignorance, but assuming that we know it all. Yan. So, kaya napaka-importante talaga is learning new things, especially if it's a ano no one actually parang actually para sa akin sakto nawala si Coach RD nga. So okay. Nawala nga siya. O tama nga yung sinabi niya, he might get disconnected. So for me there are like two things lang. One is the importance of learning about something that will add value to your work, obviously, no. And of course we know a lot of ways to do that. Reading books, going to classes, maybe enrolling into a short course or something, or alam mo yun, just researching. And another way, of course, to add value is not only to add value to your work, but add value to yourself in a way na yung kung ano yung what will give life to you also. Parang kailangan meron ka ding something that you will do or learn that is you're also passionate about, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And even in this time of pandemic, 'di ba, yung kumbaga parang yes, high stress yung mga tao ngayon. It's easy to get agitated and to be stressed in this season. mga because of cabin fever, people get parang nagiging high strung, 'di ba? Doing parang kumbaga ano na predictable na kung anong gagawin mo the next day kasi nga hindi ka naman makakaalis Hindi yung parang, uy, punta tayo sa ganito.
Yeah.
Walang mga spur of the moment travel to kung saang lugar. Baguio yung mga ganun, wala. So, kumbaga parang learning something new or learning or adding value to something that you really like to do, like doing a passion project, or if it's about work, diba, depends on your stress level also at work, diba? I believe is something that we all need to survive in this pandemic. So, yun lang yung sa akin din. And actually, meron ditong sige, meron ka bang sabihin?
Go ahead. Baka meron tayong mga comments. Tapos dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi mo after.
Ayun, dagdagan mo na kasi basahin
okay.
din natin yung mga ibang comments
sige.
natin.
So basa muna tayo ng
Dumadami
comments
na.
and then dagdagan ko yung sinabi ni ni King Ayan, sabi ni Veronica, ni Miss Boots, sabi niya, technically you can't shut off the mind but you could redirect it. If you're thinking of work that you like, match it with another pleasant thought. Yan yung suggestion.
Think of food.
Then, yun yung one of the best talaga things to think about. Sabi naman ni Ivy, ayan, learn to pause and stop. Totoo yan, tama yan. Alam mo, like you guys, no? Kasi you guys work together. Kami naman ni Ivy, we work together. And what I love about yung dynamics of working with them, with my team, is kasi very creative yung mga ginagawa namin. Pero we love what we're doing, but it doesn't necessarily mean na hindi kami napapagod sa ginagawa namin. So I like what Miss Joy said, no? Parang to marry. Okay. So may question dito si Miss M. How about unlearning, Miss Joy? How do we unlearn old habits that do not work in this season so we can adapt better to this new normal? Yeah, that's a good question. But to add lang to what King said kanina, kasi we don't stop learning di ba? Yun nga yung ating motto dito sa Practical Leadership Online. We are lifelong learners. But to marry what Coach said and to marry with what naman Miss Joy said, ang realize ko kanina is marami akong gustong passion projects Kaya lang I set it aside. And these are passion projects that will actually add value to myself. Like painting, for example. That's something that I've been wanting to do but I always set it aside. Kasi parang feeling ko mas importante yung trabaho ko. Pero tama rin na mag-pause ka. And yung pause mo is actually doing something that you like and something that also adds value to yourself and makes you come alive. So, over the weekend, parang sabi ko kay Miss M, once and for all nga, harapin ko na tong canvas na to na ang tagal ko nang hindi hinaharap. And because of that, I learned something. So, ito naman yung sinabi mo, King, no? Na because sinarap ko na siya, I learned a new technique. I learned something new na feeling ko parang, uy, okay ito May natutunan na naman akong bago. So, nagpahinga ako, pero yung pahinga ko was doing something that I like doing. So, na-rest yung mind ko. And I was also able to add value to myself because of the balance that I somehow forced myself to do. Take a break from work and face a passion project that I've been wanting to do. So, ang ganda lang ng pareho kong natutunan ngayon. And I guess to identify, mas kinesthetic learning yung style ko. Mas gusto ko na i-experience ko para mas matuto ko. So, yun lang. I just wanted to add that.
Ayun. Add ko lang din, yung about dun sa sinabi rin ni Miss Joy earlier na parang naramdaman ko din kasi siya like kunyari in this season, parang I think siguro mga 1 month na rin, I started exercising. So, usually kasi yung mga yaya ng exercise is umaga. And really, yung decision na gagawin mo siya, desire na gagawin mo siya, and doing it actually is two different things. Diba? Kahit sabihin mo na gusto mong gawin, pag hindi mo ginawa, wala rin mangyayari. So, most of the time, or siguro, I guess siguro mga 60-40, I'm able to do it. Siguro kasi like, Iba-iba kasi. May mga ibang days na meron akong kasama, biking around, ganyan. So, yun yung mga times na pag may mga kasama, mas ano siya, mas natutupad kasi it's not just me, it's also it also involves other people. So, natutuloy yan. And minsan naman, kahit ako lang din, kahit gabi na, I'm able to do it. Pero it's really a struggle kasi nga hindi pa nade-develop rin yung habit of doing it. So kumbaga parang mas ano pa, mas learning pa, learning to do it consistently. So yung desire doesn't actually always match up to doing. Okay, so nakarelate lang din ako doon. And I'm sure it can be applied into different aspects of our life.
Yeah.
Balikan natin
Siguro
ang
maganda.
question ni Miss Ken.
Oo. Yeah, maganda yun kasi learning no?
Yeah.
About learning.
Yung ulitin ko rin yung
Yeah,
question ni
actually,
Miss
can I
Marian.
add- can-
Miss Joy. Go ahead, Miss Joy.
Yeah. Doon sa question ni Marian, tawag dito, how about unlearning? The unlearning is you have to be intentional, okay? Create 10, at least list down 10 habits or 10 things that you haven't done in the past. Na kahit out of 10, kahit isa lang magawa mo dyan, it's okay. Kaysa wala kang nagawa. Okay? So you list down 10 mini goals to unlearn. So for example, hindi marunong mag-pause. Okay? So you can create a schedule. I wanna pause on the morning and after an hour or after 2 hours. So you have that. And then, let's say out of 10, isa lang yung nagawa mo. Palakpakan mo na yung sarili mo doon. Why? Because it's more painful to be indecisive than than committing a mistake. It's more painful yung hindi mo nagawa kaysa yung magkamali ka. So, that's very painful kasi ang impact niyan sa heart mo, yung pagsisisi, you started becoming disliking yourself, you don't like you don't like your decisions kasi hindi mo siya nagagawa. So kahit out of 10, isang magawa mo, you know, i-reward mo na yung sarili mo doon. So that's one, that's one way of doing it. So create 10 experimental behaviors. Mga behaviors na hindi mo pa nagawa. Like for example, hindi ka pa yung sabi nga, mahirap mag-exercise or mahirap mo mag-power nap or mahirap mag-create ng self-nurturing day. Kahit mo lang in 1 week, magawa mo lang sa isang araw in 1 week. That would reward yourself. Celebrate for that small baby steps. I-reward mo sarili mo. Palakpakan mo yung sarili mo, i-build up mo yung sarili mo instead of looking down or putting down yourself. So yung small victory will become more bigger. So small steps, baby steps, ganon. And then celebrate. That's one. Kasi ang self-rewarding can really be a great motivation also. Pero pag inaway mo yung sarili mo, kinalaban mo sarili mo for not doing things, then the more the guilt and the shame will lead you to become more parang tawag dito, nagpo-pause, hindi ka makagawa, para kang nako-confuse. So i-avoid nating ma-confuse, but instead love more, breathe more, learn more, experiment more, create more. Tapos ilista mo rin yung mga habits na hindi na siya productive. So list down the habits na hindi na siya productive, hindi na siya applicable sa new normal, hindi na siya applicable sa new sa pandemic time. So what are those example? For example, meeting people. Hindi na siya effective kasi limited na yung ating social distancing. So create how can you connect with through online? Kung hindi naman sa online, napapagod ka sa online, anong other ways of doing that? Anong other ways of doing that? Padala ka ng music, padala ka ng poem, padala ka ng thank you letter. Maraming ways of doing it, to make you feel good. The gratitude, thanking yourself, thanking the people around you. So that will help you to create more habits also.
can I add to that also, Miss Joy
Yes.
and gentlemen? In time management, when I used to teach time management, I still do until now. But normally, when you talk about time management, meron kang to-do list of things that you need to do for the day. Um, but apart from the to-do list, you also have to create what you call a to-don't list. In other words, these are things that you need to do, but these are also things that you will not do. And in the same way, in the same manner, if you want to learn more and if you want to grow more, write down a list of things that you want to learn that will help you in your career, in your being a wife, a husband, a father, a mother, a sibling, a better person, a better friend, things that you need to learn. But at the same time, you also write down another list that you things that you need to unlearn naman. Kasi yung mga bagay-bagay na nalaman natin dati, hindi na siya applicable ngayon. So, kailangan daw tanggalin na natin yun. In fact, uh, they were saying the definition of an illiterate person today is different from the definition of an illiterate person before. Kasi illiterate means what? Doesn't know how to read or write, tama? But today, the definition of an illiterate person is three things. A person who's no longer willing to learn, a person who's no longer willing to unlearn, and a person who's no longer willing to relearn. So tatlong bagay yan. Ang illiteracy ngayon, one who's no longer willing to learn new things because the world is changing and we have to begin to learn new things. Number two, someone who's no longer willing to unlearn, meaning may mga bagay-bagay na natutunan natin dati na hindi na siya applicable ngayon, hindi na siya relevant ngayon, itapon na natin yun. Huwag na natin itago pa na hoping to resurrect it. Huwag na, tapon mo na yun. But at the same time, a person who's no longer willing to relearn, ito naman yung ano yung basics, ano yung foundation, ano yung values, ano yung paniniwala natin. Dapat daw yun, hindi mawawala. Babalikan at babalikan natin. Yun yung relearn natin. So those are some ways lang by which I think we can help in terms of unlearning things, learning things, relearning things. And I do agree with Miss Joy na there are certain things na pagka nagawa mo yan, celebrate, di ba? Celebrate small victories. Kasi pag when you add that all up, it comes out to a big celebration. And yun nga, the regret of, I do agree with Miss Joy, the regret of not doing is even greater than the regret of failing or the feeling of failure. Kasi pag nag-fail ka, okay lang yun. At least you tried. Pero yung you live life na parang, paano kaya kung ginawa ko yun? Yung you regret na, ano kaya kung inano ko yan? Ano kaya kung mas masakit yun eh, kesa sa hindi ka nagsubok and you didn't try at all. So, I just wanted to add that. So, I hope that helped. I hope that helped everybody in in this particular conversation. At kung may naririnig kayong mga background music, ano yun, pati yun ng gimmick ko. Kailangan may background music ako.
Yeah. Ako, I'll give another example sa changing, learning new habits. Like for this pandemic, no? That time, I'm a very extrovert person. When I meet people, pag pagod ako, when I talk to people, nawawala yung pagod ko. Ngayon, dahil pandemic, most of my social connection is through online. And napapansin ko, when I'm talking to people through online, there's a lot of energy coming out of my body. I can sense that na mas nagre-release ako ng maraming energy, physical energy, mental energy, or spiritual energy sa online kasi nag-exert ako ng effort dahil I need to see the eyes, I need to see the gestures, hindi ko masyado makita sa online. So I created a habit of power sleep. Noon di ako nagpa-power sleep eh. This time nakita ko na, bumabagsak ang energy ko. Tanghali pa lang bumabagsak. Kasi marami na akong morning pa, 7 o'clock, marami na akong ka-meeting. So I created a habit of power nap or power sleep. Tapos after that, the following day, nilulook forward ko yan. Kahit sabihin ko pag morning, sige lang mapagod ako, okay lang kasi meron akong power sleep. So, yun yung way of my celebrating, motivating myself. Kasi hindi ko na unlike before, during pandemic, pag may kausap ako, nawawala yung pagod ko. Ngayon, hindi ko na magagawa dahil online. So, when I think of the power sleep, it will really motivate me na okay lang mapagod ako kasi meron akong 1 hour rest na hindi ko ginagawa before. Ginagawa ko na siya sa schedule ko. The 1 hour rest during nilalagay ko siya sa 1 to 2. Yung 1 to 2 is my rest, is my me time. So there's a me time to make my brain more relaxed. Kasi ang napapansin ko, sabi ko, ito yung sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, I need to create a habit to enjoy relaxing because ang nai-enjoy ko before is working. So sabi ko, I need to create a mental mindset that creating relaxation is also a fun, a fun, it's also a beautiful space or a beautiful experience. I think of that, nai-excite ako, even pagod ako, dahil looking forward ako dun sa 1 hour rest. So that's an example, creating new habits, creating things. So kasi yan ang nawala sa akin before, power sleep. Palagi ako naiinggit sa mga taong nagsisiesta. Hindi ko nagagawa. So ngayon, I'm creating that habit of making a siesta, intentional siesta.
May learning lang ako doon, Miss Joy, no? Extrovert po kayo, tapos napagod kayo doon sa mga Zoom meetings kasi you're understanding the gesture. Paano pa po yung mga introvert na katulad ko? Back then, I get tired of, dealing with people. But now, I also have this aspect na I want to also see ina-analyze ko rin kasi yung I have this individualization sa StrengthsFinder naman na kina-coach natin with Coach RD, no? So I observe gestures, tones, and all that. So kung kayo po napapagod, paano na po kaya yung mga introvert na sunod-sunod yung mga meeting? I mean, how do we cope kaya with this? That what do we have any exercises apart from sleep that actually help us relax our brain? One of the tips I got was to think, pero think again think of happy things, di ba? Meron bang way not to think, just to really I don't know, meditate or all that? Is there such a thing as not thinking or making our brains really
Yeah.
stop
Have
processing?
you seen my background? Maraming plants. Yan ang ginagawa ko
Yes.
ngayon, because connecting to the nature can also relax your brain. So since maraming mga online work, it's hard for me to connect with the nature. So ang ginagawa ko, yung kwarto namin, pinupuno ko ng plants. That when I look at the color, when I look at the green, the pink, it will relax my brain. Just looking at the plants. That's one way of doing it. And then, ang plants, nagkikreate din siya ng maraming oxygen inside the room. So the oxygen itself, the breathing, can also relax. The inhale, exhale. Kasi ang brain, pag wala siyang oxygen, your level of stress is mataas. So you intentional yung breathing mo. And then you hold it for a while and then slowly release. Another thing to, relax your brain is movement. Because our brain, kapag may movement, nagki-create siya ng happy hormones. Okay? Meron
Galaw-galaw lang.
tayong tinatawag na, galaw-galaw. So you need, so ako in between my Zoom or whatever, kasi I do online psychotherapy. So in between, I stretch, I move my body, I dance, just to, sometimes nagja-jumping rope ako, kahit I have only 10 minutes break, sometimes 15 minutes break, I move my body. And then lakad-lakad. Another thing, listening to the jazz music. The jazz music, you close your eyes, listen to the jazz music. It will relax your brain. Yung mga instrumental, it will slow down. Because kung titingnan mo ang ating brains, ang ating body cells, ang movement niyan, para yung slow motion, parang yung movement, something like that. So, if our body is like this, mechanical, and then our inside, ang ating body cells, ang movement is like this, so nagkakaroon ng chemical imbalance. So part of that is you slow down. You slow down, be mindful, visualize your whole body. Can you still feel your head? Kasi there are times when you are busy, you cannot really feel your whole body. So part of slowing down your rushing thoughts is think of your body. Think of the, can you feel your head? You close your eyes, you inhale, exhale, and then ang tawag namin diyan grounding. So you feel all parts of your body in your mind. Can you still feel your nose in your mind? Can you feel all parts of your body? Can you feel your internal organs? And then another thing, visualize. Yung sinasabi ni RD, visualize God's love, God's light, penetrating from the top of your head down to your whole being. So you can feel, the heat, the warmth, and the presence of mighty God. That's another thing. Another thing, you need a hug, you need someone to hug you. Even sa 5 minutes, can you hug me? I just need a hug, So kung wala kang kahug mate, you can imagine yourself just doing like that. Kasi ang brain natin, kahit visualization yan, even it's real or unreal, sa brain, pag minimimic mo or nire-reenact mo, the brain will gonna register it. So, imagine that you are hugging with the Lord. Another na natutunan ko this time to relax my brain, I listen to the waltz music, I close my eyes, and then I imagine I'm dancing with the Lord Jesus. So it's very relaxing sometimes, pag one time there's one incident that I just imagine myself dancing with the Lord. And then after that, I remember my mom dancing with me when I was a child. Tapos I started grieving. I started grieving of missing my mom, because yun yung mga beautiful moments na nakalimutan ko. So I started releasing strong emotions while just closing my eyes, imagining dancing with the Lord. And then it leads me to my childhood trauma. And then I was able to cry. So part of relaxing is allow yourself to give yourself permission to cry. Give yourself permission to feel your frustrations, your confusions. Kasi pag hindi ka nag-feel, for example, walang emotion, di mo nagamit yung right brain mo, pupunta yan sa one part of your brain, yun na yung nagra-rushing thoughts. Yun na yung nag-iisip ng isip kasi hindi nagagamit yung kabila. So yung kabila ang mag-overthinking. So that's one way of also slowing down, listening to the music, imagining, visualizing the Lord. And isa pa ito ito mga ano ko to, mga ano ko ito, mga experiment ko to na natutunan recently. So I started because of my stress, I started having this gum problem. So sabi ko, nagkakaroon ako ng gum problem because you take note which part of your body na nakaka-experience ng stress. Kasi ang body natin nagko-communicate yan. Pag let's say, ako normally sa gum, pag ang gum ko namamaga, that's a sign that I'm stressed. So which part of your body, if you're having a back pain or you're having a stomach upset, so identify which part of your body na nag-hold ng energy of stress. Pag nakita mo ang body mo nagre-react na nagko-communicate that you're stressed, isa sa mga na-discover ko is the communion. Because the communion is the visualization of the blood of Jesus, and the communion is the visualization of drinking the blood of Jesus. So nung nag-communion ako, this is what I'm doing. Ino-offer ko yung mga desire ko na ayaw ko. Like for example, Lord, I'm offering to you, ayaw ko maghirap, ayaw ko ma-stress, ayaw ko mapahiya, ayaw ko masaktan, ayaw kong ma-evaluate, ayaw kong mag-fail, ayaw kong mapagod, ayaw kong ayaw kong walang income. So Lord, ino-offer ko to Lord. And then, kukunin ko yung desire ng God. Lord, it's okay to feel stress. It's okay na masaktan. It's okay na ma-hurt. Kasi, alam ko, when I'm not okay, you're always okay. So that kind of, paradoxical, interaction with God, somehow ang body mo mayroong impact. Kasi you're visualizing the blood of Jesus, visualizing the flesh of Jesus. You're visualizing the love of Jesus on the cross. At the same time, ino-offer mo yung, kino-crucify mo yung flesh, yung desire of your flesh. And then at the same time, you get back the desire of God, which is love, which is unconditional love, which is, yung sinabi niya na, you will face tribulation here on earth, but be an overcomer. So sabi ko, yes, Lord, willing ako. And then after that, my gum suddenly nawala yung stress ko. Nag-disappear. So yung aking appointment sa dentist ko, kinancel ko. Sabi ko, Doc, I don't need to see you kasi okay na yung gum ko.
Wow.
So ito yung mga learnings ko, na discover ko lang to nitong nitong pandemic, na ginagamit ko sa visualization yung communion. That I can do it on myself, it's very powerful experience. Na-discover ko lang yan this time. So every time I pause and relax, sometimes when I listen to the music, I visualize I'm dancing with God. Tapos nagigrieve na ako. Tapos yung communion is about healing on my body. So yan, mga biblical and yet powerful,
Wow, thanks for that, Miss Joy. Guys, anything?
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng scenario ni Miss Joy. Alam mo, minsan we forget kasi that we are spiritual beings. Na a lot of times we just focus on what's happening in the physical. Na kunyari, pagod ka lang, may meetings ka dito, parang nasi-stress ka in your mind, etc. etc. Pero I like what you reminded us tonight na at the end of the day, we are spiritual beings. And the best way talaga to recharge ourselves is to commune with our Maker. And gawin ko ngayon, tatry ko yung mga sinuggest mo na mga exercises. Magiging part na yan ng things to do ko. Tapos magsusulat din ako ng things to not do as suggested by Coach RD. I think we have time naman, Miss Joy, to answer some of the questions na nandito, no?
Yeah.
Ayan,
Sige,
so,
go ahead.
Yeah, there's one question here from Sheena. And I think since we are in the subject of learning, I think these are also additional insight that we can learn from if you can answer this question. So sabi niya, hello Miss Joy, what indicators signify that someone is not well due to stress? What would you recommend as first aid to address it?
Okay. Ang unang-una niyan, malalaman mo, kasi sa sarili mo, ang awareness, sometimes the self-awareness is, sometimes pag when we are stressed, ang level of awareness is down. Pero malalaman mo siya, makikita mo siya sa relationship. Pag mainit ang ulo mo sa katabi mo, nagiging, nagkukos na ng easily, conflict in the family, that's a sign. Doon yan nakikita actually. Tapos hindi na makatulog, hindi makakain, what else? Hindi maka-focus, These are the things na easy, mga wala nang gana, wala na yung motivation. So that is a signs na mga basic, usually walang ganang mag-exercise, walang motivation to wake up. So these are the signs. So ano yung mga first aid? First aid talaga is you start with yourself. Start with taking care of yourself. Instead of taking care of others, taking care of the task, sarili muna, kasi ang sarili ang katawan ang may nagsasuffer eh. So karamihan ng iba ang isa sa mga problem is pinipilit baguhin yung ibang tao, pinipilit i-control yung sitwasyon. It's hard. So ang manageable is to take care of your body. Tanungin mo yung needs mo. Ano bang mga missing link sa buhay mo ngayon? Ano bang hindi mo na nagawa dahil sa stress or nawalan ng trabaho or nagsara na yung company? Ano yung mga hindi mo nagawa before? So, for example, yung tulog mo kulang, then dagdagan mo yung tulog mo. Kung ang pagkain mo hindi mga nutritious food, then you start eating nutritious food. Kung ang exercise mo, wala. So, you create a exercise schedule. Kung wala ka ng time mag-interact sa mga friends mo, try to connect with your friends. So, these are, mga practical na gagawin mo for yourself that make you feel happy. So, don't do things sa mga bagay-bagay na alam mo out of obligation or out of guilt. Wag mo munang gawin yun. How will you know if it is out of guilt or out of obligation? Actually, si Lord palagi ang ginagaya ko niyan eh. Kasi isa sa mga quiet time ko, si Lord palaging pinipressure ng ibang tao. Tulad sa Cana, sabi niya, "Oh, gumawa ka ng wine." Tapos doon sa Judea, sabi ng mga kapatid niya, "Punta ka na sa Judea, mag-perform ka ng miracles." Or doon kay Lazarus, "Oh, namatay si Lazarus, puntahan mo." Pero palagi ng Panginoon, my time has not yet come. You know? So, ginaganon ko yung sarili ko. My time has not yet come. So, no one can pressure me. How will I know that my time has come? When I have peace of mind, when I feel okay, when I feel motivated, when I feel the power of God is on me. Pero pag nakita kong driven ako sa boses ng ibang tao, driven ako sa obligation, alam ko at the end of the day mapagod ang katawan ko. So meron akong mindset na my time has not yet come. Ang ibig sabihin nun,
Ganda.
naghihintay ako ng go signal. Kaya example Iko, when I read your invitation to be here, have you noticed? I did not respond to you immediately.
Yeah.
I read your message, pero I did not respond. So sabi ko sarili ko, my time has not yet come kasi hindi ko pa narinig si Lord. So, usap muna kami ni Lord. Lord, ito ba ibigay mo sa aking assignment o hindi? Kasi kung hindi, magno-no ako kay Iko.
Yeah, that's good.
So I have to wait, the instruction from God kasi or else mag-yes ako na mag-yes and I don't know how to say no. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, at the end of the day, galit ako sa sarili ko dahil hindi ako nakapag-no. At the
That's
same
good.
time, magagalit ako sa sarili ko kasi I'm doing it out of fear or out of obligation or out of guilt or out of people pleasing to Iko. So
Yeah.
I have to hear from God. So sabi ko, Lord, galing ba to sa iyo, Lord? May instruction ka ba? And then the Lord said, yes, go. And that was the time I texted, okay, I'm available.
Nice.
So that's a good example, to
Like
really
that.
set a boundary when to serve and when not to serve. Kasi kung sige lang ng sige without instruction from God, kasi palagi ang aking concept dyan, sabi ni Lord, come to me all of you who are weary and burdened. For I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So, yan palaging tinitingnan ko, Lord, itong burden na binibigay ba to, easy ba to o light? Pag nakita kong hindi siya light at hindi siya easy, at nakikita ko parang nag-aaway sa loob ng katawan ko na merong gustong gagawa, merong ayaw, magno-no ako eh. Kasi hindi ako 100% na yes. I'm
Nice.
not 100% na nag-yes. So, I will really say no. I will say, sorry, I'm not available today. So, hindi ko naman sabihin na bakit di ako available. I'm not available 100%. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, I'm not 100% available. So, while I should be, I say yes. So, yan. Isa yan sa mga aking mga tawag dito, yung mga check-up, mga may check ba sa puso ko? Meron ba akong yes sa puso ko? Because here, sabi ni Lord, guard your heart for it is the wellspring of your life. So, ang pag walang life sa puso ko, hindi ako gagawa. Mahirap gumawa ng walang life. Kasi, ano ibibigay ko? Human effort. Pag human effort ibibigay ko, flesh, mababurn out ako. Kasi wala akong power doon. It's human effort.
Nice.
So isa yan sa mga tinitingnan ko sa sarili ko na when I give to someone, do I have the power from God? Do I have an instruction from God? Do I have a good signal from God? Kasi nga si Lord nga, di ba? Palagi yan sinasabi niya, my time has not yet come. So sabi ko, kung si Lord naggaganon, bakit ako hindi? My time has not yet come. Wala pa akong check sa puso ko. Hindi pa ako maka-yes, hindi pa ako maka-no. So maghihintay muna ako niyan. So, there are several times na may mga activities nagno-no ako because I'm not 100% there. 100%.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
Buti na lang po nag-yes kayo sa amin. Malaking tulong po.
Si Lord ang nag-yes.
Oo, ang galing.
Si Lord.
Ganda. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Sige, Miss Joy,
always.
habang ninanamnam namin, no? Habang ninanamnam namin yung mga sinabi mo, mag-greet lang tayo sa mga viewers natin na nanonood right now. So we have friends watching from Cebu. Si Juan is watching from Cebu. Maayong gabi sa imong tanan. Tama ba ako? And also si Polero. Sabi niya, I'm watching and listening now. Polero Romski. Ayan.
Former
And the
staff
comment,
namin yan, Ix. Former staff namin. Romy, hello.
Okay. Ayun, wow. Thank you for watching, everybody. And I believe itong virtual hugs to everyone galing kay Coach R dito, ano? Sa'yo nag-comment na
Galing
ito.
sa akin yan.
Sa'yo ba yan? Okay, yan.
Oo.
Ayan. So, yan.
Yung iba pala sa atin, kulang lang sa hug, kaya nasi-stress, no? So, yung mga single
Yeah.
dyan, Ano muna, imagine muna tayo na kahag
Do
tayo.
like this.
Ito yung
Yeah.
sa movie, sa series, di ba? It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah,
Naalala
Yeah.
mo?
tama yung mga ganun.
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
to be.
mga ganun siya.
Kasi the hugs, the touch can release oxytocin, which is the attachment hormones, And our brain is a social brain. Pag wala siyang ka-feel na may kahag or ka-warm blood or warm body, ang brain natin lumalamig din yung brain natin. Kaya sabi ng Panginoon, neither you're hot nor you're cold, you're lukewarm. So, wag nating hayaan na ang katawan din natin mag-feel lukewarm na we
Mm.
need a live body to connect na hindi nag-iisa sa mundong ito. So
Nice.
that you belong, you feel attached, you
Galing.
feel connected, you feel love,
And virtual hugs to my friends here sa stream at sa lahat ng nasa labas na nanonood sa atin ngayon. Ayun, we have a comment po from Sheena, yung sinagot niyo yung tanong niya. Sabi niya, thank you, Miss Joy. Inquiring of the Lord is indeed vital in guarding our heart and well-being. Yan. And we have a viewer from Africa. And si Toby.
Wow.
Watching from Africa, God bless po. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Ako from
Wow.
Baler, Makati.
Mm.
Baler Street.
Ayan, sabi naman ni Ivy, gusto ko tong comment ni Ivy. Ayan, unan po muna ang yayakapin ko.
Yeah, can be. It's nice.
Ayun.
Basta may kayakap.
That's good. Wow. Okay, so any more questions? Wow, ang daming. Ayan, meron tanong dito si Miss Mariam Gonzalez. Si Miss M talagang taking advantage of the presence of Miss Joy sa ating show. Po yung question ni Miss M, sabi niya, eto medyo ministerial po ang tanong, pero may tip po ba kayo on how to effectively counsel or minister online?
Okay. First
But
thing
before
first
you answer
is,
that, sorry Miss Joy, but before
Okay.
you answer
Sige,
that,
sige.
may comment dito para sa'yo. Sabi ni Jean, thank you, Miss Joy, for sharing about the power of communion. The blood of Christ heals all. Ang ganda, I really love that. Okay, take it away, Miss Joy.
Yeah. Pag sa online session, you create a time when to meet your client or counselee. So you choose the time. Kasi don't choose a time na palang sa palagay mo wala kang energy. O ako, pinipili ko yung time. Pag nagsisession ako ang nasusunod. Yung oras ko ang nasusunod. Hindi yung client. Kasi ikaw ang magbibigay ng support eh. So how can you give support when you're not, physically strong? That's one. The time is very important. Number two is pag session as much possible, walang tao. Kasi sometimes pag maraming tao, nakaka-stress din. So go to a place na you can focus, less distraction, less sound. So that would help you to have more focus on the online. Kasi pag maraming ingay, tapos you're listening, ang hirap papakinggan, tapos maraming sound, so maraming pagod ang ma-release. And then limit it to 1 hour. Hindi pwedeng 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, pinaka-maximum. Sa USA, 50 minutes, sa American. Dito sa atin, 1 hour. Pag medyo mahaba. So pag medyo after 1 hour, sabi mo, okay, for 15 minutes before an hour, i-remind mo na we have only 15 minutes left. Kung pwede, i-summarize ko na yung pag-uusapan natin kasi after this, we're gonna end because I have another schedule. So, ang schedule mo, it doesn't mean na ang schedule mo with other people. You can have a schedule with your husband, schedule with your, with your loved ones. So, sasabihin mo na, I have another schedule, so we need to end this. And then another thing is more of listening. More of listening because sometimes the people don't no need of parang solution. They just want to to air out, to express their ideas, they express their thoughts and feelings. So they just want someone, a neutral person or safe person to dump with. And then another thing, kung wala kang maisagot na solution, sabi mo lang it's okay. Malaking bagay na yun, yung mag-affirm. It's okay. It's normal, Normal lang yan. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay because our God is always okay. So, the listening, the aha, I see, aha. So pag hindi mo rin alam, for example, pag hindi mo alam yung mga what to do, pwede mo rin sabihin na, alam mo, makikinig lang ako sa iyo kasi itong problem mo ngayon medyo overwhelming sa akin, wala akong skills dito. If you want, I can refer you. Pag ayaw mo namang i-refer, ito lang yung maibibigay ko sa yung idea, yung support sa iyo. I can just listen and then validate your emotion. But with regards to resolving your problems, if you want higher, you want a professional counselor, I can refer you. So isa yan sa mga tips, no? Listening is very important. Listening is loving kasi when you don't listen, it's unloving. So listening can bring healing already because the person, the pinapakinggan mo, nakaka-experience ng love. And actually sa counseling, it's about the therapeutic relationship. It's not about the solution. It's about the relationship that brings healing. That ang tawag namin diyan, therapeutic relationship, because through that relationship, that person can be able to, lower the defenses, lower the fear, yung kanyang mga defense mechanism, ibababa na niya yan, and that person can be transparent to you, and that is already a healing experience. That's it.
We have another question here. Yeah, and I think si Tristan po would read it.
Okay.
Ayan. Basahin ko yung tanong ni Sir Tony. Ayan. How to handle stress alone, or do I need to seek others to provide comfort? Ayan, related to his situation. Ayan.
Okay.
Miss Joy, ano po kayang gagawin?
It depends to the level of stress. If your stress is about, physical and, parang tawag dito, it's more of your, exhaustion. For example, you're exhausted. If you're tired and exhausted, then you need to isolate. But if your level of stress is about conflict on relationship, it's about, your job, or it's about your ministry or other people, you need the feedback of other people also. Kasi sometimes when you talk to the wall, sometimes the wall cannot give you a right feedback. For example, pag sinabi mong, if you're gonna say, I'm dumb, I'm bad, I'm not good enough, and the wall would say, yes, that's true. And it's not true. It's not true. But with other people, when you are talking your struggle, for example, I feel dumb today, I feel like I'm worthless. So other people say, what's your basis of saying that? What's your basis of, telling yourself that you're worthless? So at least the people can ask question, can give to help you to think more deeper, deeper thoughts. So to challenge your mga self-deceptive thinking, or mga thoughts na mga hot thoughts, or mga thoughts na unproductive thoughts. So people can give feedback. But if you're just alone, so sometimes you're deceived by your own thoughts. Mm-mm. So it depends to the level of stress. It depends, Mm-mm. Thank
Sige
you.
po, we have another question here, Miss Joy, para at least we're almost done with our session with you. I'm sure with how we always love asking you more questions, but we'll probably give you a few more before we go. This is an interesting question from Coach RD. Sabi niya, are there other chemicals of the brain that help overcome stress, like oxytocin?
Yeah, there's marami tayong mga we have the dopamine, we have our brain is we have billions of neurons inside the brain. So we have a movement, we have a relational tawag dito chemicals, we have the movement chemicals. Marami tayong mga chemicals in the brain that create happy hormones. So like for example, making a sound, worshiping, that can create happy hormones in our brain. The movement, because we are, di ba merong sinasabi, we move and have our being. So the moment we move, there is a happy hormones also. When we touch, there is a happy hormones also. When we communicate, verbalize, because a lot of people who are, for example, yung trauma, ang cause ng trauma is, their silence. They could not even to it's hard for them to express their thoughts and feelings. So para silang na freeze. But the moment you verbalize, the moment you confess, the moment you communicate your thoughts and feelings, there is a happy hormones in that. Ang daming binibigay si Lord sa ating healing. Maraming pamamaraan to heal. Rest can also create a good chemicals in our brain. Even the food can unlock, healthy genes. Pag may mga food na nakaka-unlock ng ating mga healthy genes. So depend, may mga food na vegetables, fruits that if you eat it, yung mga healthy genes mo na unlock. So maraming mga pamamaraan. So the food, the exercise, the rest, making a sound, prayer. Prayer, the tongues can create a happy hormones also when you pray in tongues. There's a research on that when you pray in tongues, even the Bible say that when you pray in tongues, it will self-edify, na-edify ang sarili, na-build up ang sarili. So that's one of the example. Maraming
Quick,
mga
quick
exercises.
question, Miss
Mhm.
Joy.
Thank
Quick
you.
question. Anong
Yes.
comfort food mo? What's your comfort food?
Comfort food ko. Ano ba? Madami. Kasi kaya tinatawag na comfort food 'yan kasi pag kumain ka, I love banana. Yung beetroots juice, when I drink that, it makes my skin healthy, makes my skin beautiful. So, merong mga milk can some people ang milk pangit sa katawan nila, pero sa akin when I drink milk, it the following day nagba-brighten ang aking mukha sa milk. So it depends sa katawan ninyo. May mga katawan na nagre-resist, ako merong milk. Another is I love vegetables. I love to I really pag kumain ako ng maraming mga preservative, nakikita sa katawan ko, nagsishrink yung skin ko. When I started eating yung mga no preservative food, yung lutong bahay, walang bitsin, walang walang patis, then nakikita ko, I can see in my eyes, malakas ang katawan ko. So it's unlocking, the genes. Meron pang katanungan?
Meron pa po. Si
Yeah.
Miss
Tristan.
Joy.
Si Tristan po.
Ako
Yeah.
actually, meron akong tanong, Miss Joy.
Mm-mm.
Since nasimulan na kanina no, yung sabi nyo, you pray in tongues to be happy. I'd like to ask sana, Miss Joy, how do you practice joy in times of stress? This reminds me actually our Wednesday joy during the Heal for Life week. So maybe you can give us some tips on how to remain joyful and happy during this pandemic.
'Di ba merong sinasabing the joy of the Lord is my strength. So it's a matter of making a decision. Like for example, I make a decision. Today is my joy day. Pag sinabing joy day, magre-relax ako, gagawa ako ng schedule na spontaneous, hindi kahon, hindi structured. Because sometimes a structured schedule can be stressful also, na alam mo yung hindi ka patapos, tapos iniisip mo na yung next. So I have a joy, when I say a joy day, I don't have a specific schedule. It's a schedule na free flowing. It's a schedule na go with the flow. Wala siyang, para lang siyang, I'm allowing myself. So kung ano yung there are times gusto kong pumunta sa palengke, there are times gusto kong pumunta sa grocery, there are times gusto ko lang mag-isolate, there are times ayaw ko maligo. There are times, like that. So, okay lang. There are times I just watch, Netflix. So, meron akong day na wala siyang structure. It's my play day. It's my play time. Because deep inside, there is a child within us. Kasi sabi nga ni Lord, di ba, the kingdom of God belongs to the little children. So, merong the inner being within us is a child, wants to play. So naalala ko yun sa mentor ko, sabi niya, a healthy person has a play day. So meron tayong play day schedule. So it is up to you kung kailan mo gawin ang play day mo. Gusto mong gawin ng Monday, gawin mong Tuesday, Sunday. It's up to you based on your available schedule, based on your hectic schedule. So you create a play day, you create a Sabbath day, you create a joy day. So, yun or mental health day. You can call that mental health day or spiritual day, whatever you're gonna call that. Importante yung meron kang, sa day na yun, meron kang sense of choice. meron kang yung free will mo na e-exercise mo. Kasi mahirap yung, ang nagdi-dictate ng schedule mo ay ibang tao. So, mas maganda may day ka na ikaw ang nagdi-dictate ng schedule mo. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Joy.
Oo. Meron pa? Mm-mm.
Galing. Gusto ko yung mga sinabi ng mga nag-comment sa atin, Miss Joy. Basahin ko lang yung iba. Sabi ni Coach RD, comfort food. Yan, Spam, the versatile food. Yan ang kanyang comfort food. Pareho sila ni
Yeah.
Ana Agregado. King. Yan. Si Mariam naman, fruits and milk. Yan. Yan. Fruits and milk pala ang beauty secret mo, Miss Joy. Yan.
That's true. That's true. It's the food.
Noted, noted.
Mm-mm.
Noted.
Mm-mm.
Yan. And si Ivy, yan, sabi niya, today I choose joy. Yan.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. Mm-mm.
gusto ko po yung sinabi niya, siguro ang takeaway ko before ko ipasa kay Lee yung next, siguro yung takeaway ko sa sinabi mo, at least the last part, sa sobrang dami ng mga na notes ko, is joy, to practice joy is to make a decision about joy every single day. So whether there is stress, whether there's pandemic, it's always a choice to make a decision that today is a joyful day. So I really like that. Thank you for imparting
Yeah.
that to us, Miss Joy.
Mm-mm.
Okay?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's a choice kasi. Joy is always
DJ?
available. Ang joy,
Importante talaga yung
parang ano yan iceberg. Kung i-visualize mo siya, ang joy natabunan lang ng trauma. But sometimes what you're always thinking is the trauma, the painful experiences, but underneath there's a joy there. There's a joy. Pag na-overcome mo itong trauma na ito, hinarap mo siya, hindi mo siya in-avoid, the joy will come out naturally. Hindi mo na siya pipilitin. It will come out naturally. Kasi nandun na yun. It's part of the creation of God. The joy is part of the creation of God sa ating puso.
Wow.
Galing.
Wow, thank you, Miss Joy, for all that. No? Yung namesake mo pa lang talaga, you live it out and you teach it to others as well para ma-experience yung joy. Normally we end at 9 o'clock, Miss Joy, but since we had so much fun and so many people tuned in to ask, nag-extend tayo ng 30 minutes.
It's
But as we wrap up, I just like to ask everyone siguro to give their own take, one take that you're going to take home. Well, nasa bahay tayo lahat tonight, no? Yung pinaka nag-stick out sa inyo as we end. And we'll end with Iko. Pero all of us, let's give one take at least. Ito hindi ko po take, na-realize ko lang. May sinabi kanina si Miss Joy na other people can give us joy and malalaman natin na stressed out tayo pag laging galit. I can honestly speak for everyone na dahil kay Miss Marge de Golacion, sobrang joy ang ini-express ngayon ni Tristan. Dati talaga, para kulang na lang galit sa mundo eh. Ngayon naman, love na love niya ang mundo. No? So when you find that
May kayakap na eh.
Oo eh. When God gives you that right person talaga, grabe yung transformation. So hindi po yun i-share ko. No? So ladies first, Miss Joy, any parting words for our viewers tonight as we try to wrap this up?
Yeah. Stress itself is positive. Stress is part of life, Pag inayawan mo yung stress, you resist the stress, you will have a super stress. So, embrace stress, embrace, accept them. The more you accept the stress, mas lesser the pain. If you resist the stress, you don't like stress, you don't want stress. So, ang katawan mo mag-overload, magtatrabaho doble-doble how to resist that. So, just accept it kasi at the end of the tunnel, there is light, So, I just look at this, it's just like this, no? This is the beginning and this is the end. Dito sa gitna, nandun yung process. So, a lot of people don't want to experience the in-between. They just want to experience the ending without experiencing the process. So experiencing the process of stress can make you more wiser, stronger, and the Lord can recycle your learning out of that stress. Marami kang matutunan dyan. And number one dyan is how to access your joy through the stress. So, tapos wag na, yung stress mo, nagkakasakit ka na, then just back off, have rest. Ganun lang, pahinga. Kasi ang ibig sabihin yan, katawan mo, hindi na kayang harapin yung stress. Although you want to embrace the stress, but your body is already reacting, may mga inflammations na, meron ng stomach upset. So that means hindi kaya na ng katawan mo yung stress, although you want to embrace. So part of that is back off, and then sasabihin mo, I'm not God. So I'm not the ano the outcome is not in my hands, I just let it go and then just rest for a while because alam ko na pag lumakas ulit ako, kaya ko na naman mag-embrace ng stress. So something like that. So life is beautiful, full of colors, full of journeys. So just go through the process and then you can learn. Yun yung sinasabi kanina na marami kang learnings dyan. Maraming mga life lessons dyan sa stress. Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks, Miss Joy.
Oo, grabe. Ganda nung summarization. For me naman, of course, no, dami natin natutunan kay Miss Joy. Miss Joy, thank you so much again for being with us at Practical Leadership Online. And I'm sure na-appreciate din talaga ng mga viewers natin. And for sa akin siguro two things, no. Yung isa is really when you are feeling stressed or nararamdaman mo ng may nangyayari sa body mo or yun nga may mga indicators tayo ng stress. One is to give it to God na parang God can help you during that stress na kahit na wala kang ginagawa, God can do something. Kahit tulog ka, God can do something. And of course, the second thing is yun, rest. Diba na parang yun yung pinakamadali, I guess, na pwede nating gawin na panlaban, para to give our body time to rest also, to recharge, and to be ready for the next battle, kumbaga, So, ayan, looking to God and looking for rest also. Of course, God is a God of peace. God is a God of rest. And ultimate rest can be found in Him. Kaya yun yung pinaka stress buster, kumbaga, As we face stress head on, we can do it only with God on our side.
Ako naman,
Nice.
PK and Iko, sa umpisa pa lang may sold out concept na ako na receive from Miss Joy. Yung stressing out over mistakes. I think coming from school kasi parang na-program tayo that mistakes is a bad thing. But when you realize it, mistakes actually teach you what to avoid, what not to do anymore. And without mistakes, you can't really succeed. It's really part. Wala namang perfect sa buong mundo, di ba? Lahat tayo nagkakaroon ng mistakes. And I also agree na mas masakit ang missing out versus mistakes. Kasi yung mistakes, I can live with that. Pero yung missing out, ang bigat niya dalin. Kasi babalik-balikan mo Parang dapat ginawa ko to, dapat versus mistakes. You actually move on faster with mistakes. So to the people out there, if the fear of mistakes has held you down, especially during this pandemic, I hope that you focus more on, it's okay to make mistakes. Maybe we all grew up being told, don't do that, don't make mistakes, diba? Ang tinuturo sa atin mga bata, dapat perfect. Pero when you think about it, that's not reality. That's not what's expectation meets reality. We are bound to make mistakes. And we just need to pray and realize that on our own, really, we're bound to make mistakes. But through the grace of God, even if we make mistakes, we can still succeed. So I hope everybody will find something to do this season, this pandemic, that they will not miss out. Kasi after the pandemic, iba, dapat ginawa ko na to ng pandemic, dapat tinawagan ko na siya. Kasi nasa bahay lang siya. Dapat inaccept ko na yung job offer na yun. Dapat, and this is the worst, one of the worst mistake or missed out opportunities. dapat sinurrender ko na yung buhay ko kay Christ during the pandemic. Ngayon, parang there's so much at stake. So, thank you. Thank you, Miss Joy, for that. So,
Yeah. Ang tawag namin dyan, Lijay, at unfinished business. Maraming unfinished business in
Agree.
counseling term.
Which becomes excess baggage eventually. So, wow,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
Thank you for that. So, sino mag-share?
Ikaw,
Si ano ba?
Tristan, baka may add pa si Tristan.
Add ko lang sa ating lahat ay una, kapag malungkot, yan, hanap ng kayakap. Una, kapatid, nanay.
Alam na alam ah.
Oo, kasi si Elijah naghahanap ng kayakap, umiiyak kanina eh. So, pangalawa, isa sa mga natutunan ko din, Miss Joy, really trust the process. Maganda yung sinabi nyo na it's really hard to just to receive stress or just to absorb it. So, there's light dun sa tunnel, sabi nyo nga po kanina. Mahaba na siya. So, I appreciate that meron akong mga kasama na tumulong para mag-absorb ng process. And I'd like to encourage everyone to find community, to find friends, to find community to help you walk through in that tunnel, to help you absorb stress. Para kahit malayo pa yung tunnel, kahit na malayo pa yung light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you are with someone who are with you, that makes a little bit comforting to help you out with the stress. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Direct Iko.
Yun. Oo, thank you Tristan. And thank you sa lahat ng shinare ninyo. No? Parang for me, na-affirm lang lalo yung ating motto. And really, more than a motto, it's really our goal. No? It's our prayer that we really want to become lifelong learners. And tonight, no, ang topic natin is about learning, knowledge, and I just picked up so many things from you, Miss Joy, as usual, and also, of course, complementing pa with what our coach, si Coach RD mentioned earlier. So parang for me tonight, I just really want to be more open to learning. And mas gusto ko na maging ignorante na lang ako. Or ang tawag ni, yung sinabi ni Coach kanina, na parang mas gusto ko na lang na ganun yung stance ko para lagi akong open to learning. And katulad sabi naman ni Lijay, yung parang ayoko na magbabad sa mistakes ko. I can learn from it, move forward, and just learn new things and become better. Sabi nga ng misis ko, I think I want to end with reading some of the comments here, Miss Joy, no? Sabi nga ng misis ko dito is, hindi na makakalimutan yung tinuro mo sa atin during one of our streaming, no? Sabi niya, healing is our inheritance from the Lord. So, healing from our mistakes and how we dealt with it, the Lord is always ready to encourage us and remind us that it's okay. Just learn from it and become better after that. Sabi ni Toby, thank you, Sister Joy, making us fully dependent with God, especially in times like this stressful days. Living alone is not easy. Marami sa ating living alone, but thanks be to God, for He's always there beside us. Stress is always there. It's just dependent on how we react to it. God bless po. And then sabi naman ni Coach RD, stress is temporary. Don't make it permanent. Ayan, inviting everyone to join us tomorrow for kape lang. Ay, kape tayo. And then sabi naman ni Sheena, sa sandaling oras na spending time here, my spirit is refreshed. Thank you so much, Miss Joy, and our practical leadership coaches. And sinundan niya ni Ivy na siya rin. Marami daw siyang natutunan tonight. And then sabi naman ni Jean, balance and being well require great discipline and intentionality. Taking care of ourselves is also good stewardship of our time, our energy, and our internal, external resources. Thank you, Miss Joy. Learned so much from you tonight, from this session. And I'd like to end with this. Thank you for reminding us, Miss Joy, that even in stress management, we could look to the examples of Jesus. I echo what Jean said. And thank you once again for joining us this evening, Miss Joy. We appreciate you,
Thank you.
for seeking God. And thank you, Lord. That's how mo kay Miss Joy. She should do this tonight. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
God bless you all. Thank you very much. Kasi alam ko naman si Lord palagi nagbibigay ng wisdom sa bawat isa sa atin. Thank you, Lord, for that.
Okay, thank you, Miss Joy. And once again, we want to invite everybody to join us tomorrow at 8:05 a.m. for Kape Tayo. Ayan naman, tomorrow is Wednesday, so medyo nasa midweek na naman tayo. Magkwentuhan tayo and let's just encourage one another tomorrow. Join us. Dito rin po yan sa Practical Leadership Online. We will also be streaming on YouTube. Please subscribe to Practical Leadership Online and also sa page ni Coach RD. Just look for RD Abelio dito sa Facebook. Ayan. Alright. So, thank you once again, Miss Joy, and thank you, Pas.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.